Okay, so welcome to my channel. This is my very first YouTube video, and I am primarily a character concept artist, meaning I do stuff like this, and this. Okay, I'm also a webcomic creator. I'm currently working on a webcomic right now. I haven't started publishing it yet, but it's still in production, so I'm going to be doing videos on that later on. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about my process coloring this particular image. So you're going to see a time lapse where I'm also giving you like commentary, like talking about the process along the way. So yeah, let's get right into it. So for this one, I've already filled in the silhouette of the character with the light gray and set it to a multiply layer. I like to do that so I can start separating the areas that are going to have any rim lighting by deleting those areas, and then I just go in and fill in the shadow areas with a darker gray. Remember, this is on a multiply layer, and for this image you can see that the line art is more polygonal. It's like there are not many curves on it, so I just use the polygonal lasso tool to fill in the shapes of the shadow so they're like triangular, they're more angular and less round. So right now I'm just filling in the shadow areas, the areas that are darkest, the areas that are facing away from the lighting. For this one I was thinking of a lighting setup, a lighting source coming from below, hitting the character from below. So that will be the key lights, and then there will be a rim light from another light source coming from behind him but like above. So that will be how you guys will see that later on. But here right now you can see the planes that are facing upward. I'm filling them with a darker gray to separate them from the other areas that the lights is going to be hitting more. So for this image, for this particular drawing, I'm using a technique called grayscale. Now grayscale is a technique that you do by separating or turning off the flat layers and just painting in or filling in the different tones and shades of the character differently, so you don't have any colors distracting you. You can just see clearly the tones. You're just looking at the tones. It's like looking at a black and white image or something, or a sculpture that doesn't have any colors or something like. So now for this, I do everything on different folders. The flat colors, the base colors have its own folder, and then the grayscale has its own folder with different layers. For the grayscale, I have a folder with different layers with different tones, different shades of gray, going from light to dark. So that's the technique I'm using here. So as you can see, there are no colors as I'm rendering the image, so I can only focus on the tones. Yeah. And then if you notice, from time to time I just turn off my line art so I can just see the grayscale alone, so I can just see what it looks like. It's meant to look like a sculpture, like a 3D sculpture, so that way, without seeing the information that the lines are giving me, if I can get a feel of what the image is or what the image should look like, that means I'm on the right path. So if you're using this technique, I would advise you to just, from time to time turn off the line art layers, just look at the sculpture. If it looks like an accurate 3D model, then you're on the right path. That's the way to go. And now as you can see, I decided to add a lighter shade of gray to the darker one, just to depict some more, to depict a value change, a more detailed gradation of value from light to dark. So yeah, I'm just adding, you can see like kind of like a mid-tone tone shade. So that's what I'm doing right now. And for this, actually, what made me even go for this style, this polygonal style without so many colors? What made me go for this style is an artist, Hisham Habchi. That guy, he has really nice line art. He has these really cool, angular characters that he does. His line art looks really angular and stylized. So that's the kind of style I was going for in this image. Now, just if you notice, I'm filling in the ambient occlusions. Ambient occlusions are simply areas that the lights wouldn't hit at all. Like they're going to be really dark. So, like cast shadows and all that. Like the cast shadow that he did to the top of his he's making on his neck. And then I'm adding yet another darker shade. So it depends on you. It depends on what you feel like doing. So you can just go on and keep on adding different layers with even darker tones or lighter tones. But remember, the beginning, you just start from a simple gray, a very light gray, and then if you know they are going to have any areas with rim lights that's not even going to have any dark tone at all, you can just delete those areas and then just start filling in grays. I usually start from the half points to dark. Like when you pick the value of your base color and then just go halfway towards totally black, and then that's where you start from. That's like the mid-tone, but I'm going to go more in depth in that. I'm going to explain that later on in subsequent videos. So yeah, right now I'm just cutting off, like what I said about the rim lights. Look at the shoulders. I just cut off some areas that I know that I'm going to add some rim lights. Yeah, and I added a multiply layer because I want the image to have this teal blue color. So like that's going to be the feel like the green, just to tint it a little bit towards that teal green color, just to push it towards a color, and that will be like as a result of the surrounding lights. When light hits a character, the surrounding light is going to affect it. And then I picked that teal blue, so it forms a triadic color scheme with the yellows, and I'm going to add a kind of purple rim lights. So you have purple, yellow, and like teal blue, like cyan. So that's going to form this triadic color scheme. As you can see, even with his shoes as well, his jersey is yellow, one of the other shoes is purple, close to pink, and the other one is teal blue or teal green. So that's the color scheme I'm going for in this image. Yeah, now I'm filling in the rim lights. So for the rim lights, I just fill in a base color, just on a simple layer, and then I add a glue dodge above that, and then select outside the rim lights that I just filled, and then use the airbrush to just lightly add color there, so it looks like it's glowing. And now I'm just adding some extra details in the shadow areas. I'm using some texture brushes and adding just some effects, just to add some style to it. Just a stylistic choice. You don't have to do this. It's just something I picked up on. It's just something I like doing. So you don't have to do all this. It's just extra stuff just to make the art pop a little more. And yeah, for the areas that are hitting lights, that are facing directly at the light as well, I'm making them lighter with some other tones. I'm using a screen tone here, so I'm using a circular screen tone. I'm just using the airbrush to fill it in, so you can see those circles, the screen tone there. kind of like what comic and manga creators use for their comics. So I just add some style, and then in the shadows I'm adding some other colors. Into the shadows, because your shadows are not just totally gray. Shadow areas are also affected by surrounding colors, so adding that in. And then what I like to do, I like to create a bounce. For the bounce lights, I create a hard lights layer above everything, and just the areas I know that there's going to be a lot of lights bouncing. I just pick the color of that base color, and then just brushing a little bit of the color in there. But of course I'll go in depth in each of these things I'm talking about later on in other videos. And of course I'm still adding effects on the ground, on his legs, just to add in some detail. All these things I'm talking about might sound confusing, but I'll definitely go into them in different videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe.